Here's a number that sounds safe: $1 million. For decades, that figure has been treated like the finish line of retirement planning. Save $1 million and you're set. But ask a financial planner what actually happens the day someone retires with exactly that amount. The story gets more complicated, because the biggest mistake almost every American makes isn't about how much they save. It's about what they assume will happen after they stop working. Most people spend their entire working life focused on one question: how much do I need? They calculate, they save, they watch their 401k grow, and they treat that growing number as proof that everything is going according to plan. But there's a second question almost nobody asks with the same intensity. Once I have the money, how do I actually take it out? How do I avoid running out, losing a huge chunk to taxes, or getting wiped out by bad timing? That gap between saving well and withdrawing wisely is where a huge number of retirements quietly go wrong. Let's start with the part people think they understand, but usually don't. Taxes. A lot of retirement savings sits in accounts like a traditional 401k or IRA. When people look at that balance, they see the whole number, but that balance was never fully theirs. The government deferred the tax, it didn't cancel it. Every dollar withdrawn from a traditional account in retirement gets taxed as ordinary income at whatever the tax rate happens to be that year. So a comfortable balance may actually be 10, 20, sometimes 30% smaller once real withdrawals start. That alone catches people off guard. But it's not the part that does the most damage. The part that does the most damage is timing. Specifically, what happens in the first few years after someone retires. Here's the scenario almost nobody prepares for. Imagine two people retire with the exact same savings, the exact same withdrawal plan, and the exact same average investment return over 20 years. On paper, they should end up in the same place, but one of them retires right before the market drops. The other retires right before the market rises. Even though their long-term average return ends up identical, their outcomes are not identical at all. The person who hits a downturn early, while they're withdrawing money instead of adding it, can run out of savings years before the other person. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it's one of the most underestimated dangers in retirement planning. It doesn't matter what the market does on average over 30 years. It matters what the market does in the first 5 to 10 years. A downturn early in retirement forces someone to sell investments at a loss just to cover living expenses, which permanently shrinks the pool of money. The same downturn 10 years into retirement is far less damaging because the portfolio has had time to grow before taking the hit. Most retirement calculators don't show this. They show an average annual return smoothed out over decades, which looks reassuring. But it hides the exact risk that ends up mattering most. So now the picture starts to shift. It's not just about the total number saved, it's about when the money is needed, how it's taxed, and what order it gets withdrawn in. Which leads to the mistake underneath the mistake. Most people build one retirement account and treat it as their entire plan, but the accounts like a traditional 401k, a Roth IRA, and a regular taxable brokerage account all behave completely differently once withdrawals begin. Pulling from the wrong one at the wrong time can quietly push someone into a higher tax bracket or increase Medicare premiums, and shrink the number of years their money realistically lasts. This is why the single number so many people fixate on, the total amount saved, was never the full story. Two people can retire with identical savings and end up in completely different financial situations 10 years later, based entirely on how they withdrew what they withdrew from and when they started. So what does this actually mean for someone planning their own retirement? It means the real work isn't just accumulating a number and hoping it's enough. It's understanding how that number will be taxed, how market timing at the start of retirement can quietly reshape decades of outcomes, and how having money spread across accounts with different tax treatments gives far more control than having it all in one place. The biggest retirement mistake was never really about not saving enough. It's believing that saving enough is where the plan ends. The people who navigate retirement most successfully aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest balance. They're the ones who understood ahead of time that how you take the money out matters just as much as how you put it in. That's the part almost nobody tells you until it's already too late to fully fix it, and now you know it early enough to actually do something about it.